Hello. Let me give a few more seconds for folks to join in. Oh, hello and welcome everyone. And a special thanks to you for joining from what I'm sure are many different time zones around the world. Wherever you're dialing in from, I'm glad to have you here for this session on Beyond the Hype Practical Strategies for Integrating AI into Enterprises. Sorry. I'm Priyadarshini Balachandran. Most people just call me Priya, and you're welcome to do the same. I architect scalable multi tenant commerce platforms for large scale retailers and lead AI driven engineering transformation. With over 15 years of experience in distributed systems and platform modernization, I've focused on bridging innovation with enterprise pragmatism, making sure that the exciting possibilities of AI are translated into solutions that truly work in complex global environments. Before we begin, a quick note. The views I'll share here today are my own and don't necessarily reflect those of my current or past employers. Also, every image you see in this presentation has been generated using AI, which felt like the right way to set the tone for our topic today. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll explore practical ways to integrate AI into any enterprise so it delivers lasting value and not just a quick burst of hype. Let's get started. Before we dive deep, I want to set the stage for who this session is designed for and what you can expect to take away. This talk is aimed at strategic technology leaders, CTOs and CIOs, VPs of engineering, heads of AI, ML, technology directors, and strategists. But honestly, if you're someone who's involved in making decisions about how AI is adopted, scaled, and governed in your organization, you're in the right place. And here's what you'll walk away with by the end of this session. You'll know how to spot the AI opportunities in your business that are worth pursuing, the ones that create measurable business impact. You'll see how to weave AI directly into your existing workflows so it feels natural for teams to adopt and use it. You'll learn strategies to manage AI's unpredictability so you can trust the outputs before they ever make it to production. You'll understand how to put the right governance and guardrails in place to keep AI safe, compliant, and aligned with your organization's values. And you leave with ideas for building an organizational culture that not only accepts AI, but actively drives innovation with it. By the end of this talk, you'll have a practical playbook for integrating AI into your enterprise in a way that's strategic, sustainable, and impactful. I think that's enough talk about the talk. So let's dive in. When it comes to AI adoption in the enterprise, one of the biggest mistakes I'm sure we've all seen is chasing shiny ideas. Projects that sound iconic on the surface but don't actually solve a pressing business problem or is high risk to use AI to solve. Another common pattern we observe is going all in on massive AI initiatives before having done the due diligence to measure their value. Both approaches can burn time, money, and credibility. Instead, focus the investment on a handful of high impact use cases that are directly tied to the organization's goals. This means asking, will this improve customer experience? Will it increase operational efficiency? Will it move the revenue or cost needle in a measurable way? I recommend splitting AI investments into two broad categories: role based assistance and developer productivity enablers. Role based assistants are AI capabilities that directly enhance business operations and customer interactions. And developer productivity enablers are AI tools that make engineering teams more efficient across the entire software delivery lifecycle. So, to make this more tangible, let's look at a beauty e commerce retailer as an example. On the role based side, we might build AI assistants like shopper assistants, guiding customers through product discovery with interactive beauty quizzes, virtual try on for shades, and personalized recommendations based on preferences and purchase history. associate assistants, equipping store or support staff with instant product information, ingredient lookups, and compatibility checks for skin types or preferences. Merchandising assistants, analyzing customer trends to optimize seasonal launches, limited editions, and promotional bundles. Operation support assistants, automating catalog updates, stock alerts, and fulfillment workflows. Influencer partnership managers, which is very key to the beauty business these days, finding and vetting influencers, predicting campaign ROI, and optimizing affiliate marketing links in real time. So these are all role based assistants that could prove to be really helpful for this particular domain. And then we have the developer productivity enablers, AI assisted requirement gathering, can convert stakeholder discussions, tickets, or documents into structured user stories and acceptance criteria. Tech design documentation assistant can generate architectural diagrams, design specifications, and developer onboarding guides from conversations, code, and existing system artifacts. Code generation and completion, this is a popular one. Generate boilerplate code, reusable components, and context aware code suggestions directly in the IDE. Automated code reviews can enforce coding standards, detect anti patterns, and suggest improvements before code merge. And intelligent test case generation, about creating unit, integration, and end to end test cases from functional requirements. Test data synthesis is about generating realistic compliant test data sets for varied environments. This is a very tricky thing to nail in software, any technical environment, because test data is always evolving, and to keep up with it is a challenge. We can creatively use AI to solve this problem. Predictive build and deployment insights, you can identify changes likely to fail the CI/CD pipelines and flag risky deployments ahead of time. Dependency and security scanning, you can detect vulnerabilities and suggest safe dependency upgrades. You can also do incident root cause suggestions. You can have the AI analyze logs and metrics to propose likely causes of production issues. So, this is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the common ways where AI could really prove useful in optimizing the entire software delivery lifecycle. Um, and here's the flip side. For the same domain, an example of shiny but high risk idea would be using AI for automated skin condition diagnosis. While it sounds engaging and could be even considered a new revenue stream, it's risky. It ventures into regulated healthcare territory, carries potential for misdiagnoses, and could seriously damage customer trust. That's the type of use case to avoid, no matter how tempting it might seem. The key takeaway here is simple: invest in what creates measurable value and aligns with business objectives, and be deliberate about steering clear of high risk distractions. Next, let's take a look at one of the most common tensions in AI adoption is how to balance creativity with control. On one hand, we want to encourage distributed innovation, letting teams across the business explore AI ideas. That means engineers, analysts, marketing people, and operations staff should all feel empowered to experiment, prototype, and test new use cases. This grassroots approach sparks creativity, surfaces unique opportunities, and make people more comfortable working with AI. But on the other hand, without structure, things can get messy very quickly. We can end up with multiple teams building similar assistants, experimenting with overlapping tools, or storing sensitive data in uncontrolled environments. That's why we also need a centralized registry, a living inventory of all AI tools, assistants, and models being used across the organization. And the registry helps in three ways: it prevents duplication. Teams can see what already exists and build on it rather than starting from scratch. It accelerates adoption. Success stories and proven tools are easy to find and reuse. Maintains visibility and compliance. So leadership knows what AI is in play, where it is running, and how it's being used. So the real sweet spot is finding the balance, give people the freedom to innovate locally, but connect those efforts through a central knowledge hub. That way, AI grows in a way that's both scalable and safe. So, once the right use cases are identified, the next question is, how do we actually get people to use them? The answer is not to throw a brand new tool at teams and expect them to change their habits overnight. Adoption is much higher when AI is integrated directly into the tools and workflows people already rely on every day. For developers, that might mean embedding AI driven recommendations right inside their IDE or integrating automated AI powered feedback into the CI CD pipeline so it's part of the natural code review process. For customer service teams, it could mean real time suggestions appearing directly in the ticketing system they already use. For merchandising operations, it could be context aware recommendations inside existing dashboards. The principle is simple: embed where work happens. If we make AI an invisible extension of existing processes, adoption feels effortless. And there's another principle: enhance, don't disrupt. The goal is to add capability, but not replace workflows like wholesale. AI should fit into the rhythm of work, not force a complete change in how teams operate. When integration is done right, we get frictionless adoption, faster ROI, and the kind of trust that makes teams want to expand AI's role rather than to resist it. Next, let's talk about something we all need to be honest about: AI, especially large language models. These can be unpredictable. We've all seen it. The confident but completely wrong answer, what we call a hallucination. In a casual setting, it's entertaining, really, but in an enterprise setting, it can cause confusion, break workflows, and even introduce compliance risks. The good news is that we're getting better at controlling this unpredictability. So, over the last couple of years, we've gone from simply reacting to AI errors to proactively putting structures in place that reduce them before they ever reach a user or a production system. We're not perfect yet, but we do have some techniques that is proven to help. RAG. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, an AI technique that combines two steps to improve the quality and accuracy of responses from large language models. First step is retrieval. Before generating an answer, the system searches an external knowledge source, like a database, document store, or search index, for relevant information based on the user's query. For example, pulling product specs from a database, searching enterprise documents, or fetching recent news. The second step is augmented generation. The retrieved content is then fed into the LLM as additional context so the model can craft a more grounded, factual, and specific response. So, by using RAG, rather than relying on what the model thinks it knows, we feed it with verified enterprise data so its responses are grounded in facts that you can control. Another technique is prompt engineering, but with specific guardrails. So, structuring prompts to narrow the scope, for example, say, only respond using the facts provided. Through many studies, research, and practical implementation, we've learned that providing clear, unambiguous instructions on what we want the LLM to achieve, avoiding any vague language, we've seen more predictable results. It is also recommended to enforce formats like JSON, like structured formats, so they can be validated programmatically as well. To further find opportunities to improve, we have to continuously perform post-response validation. So running outputs through, schema checks, fact checking models, or domain-specific rules to catch errors before they cause any real harm. Last but the most critical of all is the human in the loop methodology. For critical workflows, it is vital to have a human review and approve outputs while capturing feedback to improve prompts and models over time. And as the space continues to evolve, there are other advanced techniques worth exploring, such as fine tuning models with domain specific data sets or applying reinforcement learning with human feedback to shape model behavior more precisely. These can be powerful, but they come with higher costs and operational complexity. So they should be used selectively where the business value justifies them. So the more predictable AI becomes, the more trust it earns, and trust is what drives adoption. With the strategies we discussed so far, we've made AI work for our organization. Great. But is that it? No. Once we have strategies to make AI more predictable, the next step is making sure it's safe, compliant, and aligned with the organization's values. And that's where governance comes in. A robust governance, a robust governance framework establishes trust and safety while enabling innovation. So, how do we put governance into action? It starts with a few core practices that work together to keep AI innovation on track while minimizing risk. Define clear usage policies. Decide upfront where AI is approved, where it's prohibited, and what kinds of data it can access. This includes setting role based permissions so only the right people can run certain models or use sensitive data sets. The next thing to do is enabling traceability. Keep a complete audit log of every model interaction, the prompt, the output, and what happened to it afterward. Real time monitoring can also flag anomalies or policy violations before they escalate. Automate complaint safeguards. That's another thing that would ensure safety. Automated scanning to detect personal information, toxic content, or regulatory red flags in AI outputs before they're used in production. So that is very key that we need to set the stage before it reaches the use reaches the target customers, either your end users or your developers, and set up high alerts for any high risk behavior. And AI is certainly not a set it and forget it capability. Models, data sets, and policies should be reviewed on a regular cadence. This should be a cross functional effort involving legal, security, compliance, and engineering. And so you're always aligned with evolving regulations and business priorities. So think of governance as the connective tissue that links innovation to trust. You want to enable creativity, but with boundaries not that protect your customers, your data, and your brand. Done right, governance doesn't slow you down. It actually gives you the confidence to move faster, but you know the safety nets are in place. So governance gives a structure, but ethics ensures that structure is built on the right foundation. When we talk about ethics in AI, we are talking about more than just avoiding harm. We are talking about building systems that are fair, transparent, and aligned with the values as an organization. There are three important dimensions here. So, define clear boundaries. Not every task should be automated with AI. If a decision affects people's safety, privacy, or livelihood, human oversight is non negotiable. AI can assist, but it shouldn't replace human judgment in these areas. Auditing for bias. LLMs and AI's systems can reflect and sometimes amplify the biases present in their training data. That's why it's essential to test outputs across different scenarios, demographics, and contexts, and to put processes in place for flagging and fixing bias when it appears. Case in point, when preparing this desk, I used an AI image generator to create scenes of software engineers working together. The resulting images unfortunately reflected a very narrow group of people, mostly men, with no visible women or black or brown engineers represented. This is a powerful reminder that AI can unintentionally perpetuate biases if not checked. Let's put that in context with some real world numbers. Women held 35% of tech jobs in the US at the end of 2023, based on a study published by the World Bank. To make the images more exclusive, I had to really be very explicit about the prompts that I used. And if I hadn't audited the images for bias, I would not have had a chance to fix it. So, auditing for bias is very, very important when we talk about AI in enterprises. The last dimension here is maintaining transparency. People should know when they're interacting with AI and understand how key decisions are made. Sometimes, even a simple disclosure as to this response was generated by AI using your previous purchase history can go a long way towards building that trust. So, ethics isn't a one time checklist we can tick off, it's a mindset that has to be embedded into every stage of AI design, deployment, and monitoring. If governance is the rule book, ethics is a compass. It keeps us heading in the right direction, even as AI capabilities and regulations evolve. So, we've Talked about governance and ethics. But even the best frameworks won't matter if the organizational culture isn't ready for it. A supportive AI culture is what turns strategy into real adoption. Without it, AI can become isolated experiment instead of a shared capability. So let's touch upon some practical ways to foster that cultures. Sharing success stories. So regularly highlight AI wins, big or small, from across the organizations. It inspires teams and creates momentum for sure. Encourage dialogue, open dialogue about AI usage. Create safe spaces where teams can openly discuss what's working, what's not, and where AI could be applied next. Promote knowledge sharing. Um, Prompt libraries, building prompt libraries are a really good way to promote knowledge sharing. Prompting is the key to getting the best out of AI, and companies are investing in prompt libraries across that can be used across the board. Internal demos and playbooks, so good practices spread quickly across the teams. Another way is to invest in learning programs, offer hands on workshops, training sessions, and certifications so teams feel confident using AI tools. Another way is to run AI hackathons. This gives teams permission and time to experiment, and many high impact ideas are born in these rapid prototyping events. Culture is the multiplier. With the right mindset across the organization, AI adoption becomes self sustaining. People don't just use AI because they have to, they use it because they see the value and feel empowered to contribute towards evolution. With that, we have come to the finish of the whole session. So let's bring it all together with the core takeaways from today's discussion. First, AI's potential is real, but it needs thoughtful investment. It's not about doing AI for AI's sake, it's about targeting high impact use cases that align with the business goals. Second, start small, learn quickly, and focus on measurable business outcomes. Big wins often start with small, well executed pilots that scale. Third, balance experimentation with governance. Sure, innovation thrives when people are free to try new things, but we need the guardrails in place to keep those experiments safe and aligned with organizational values. Fourth, we have to keep a people first mindset. AI is a tool, not a replacement for human judgment. Trust and adoption comes when AI augments people's capabilities rather than undermining them. And finally, this journey is just beginning. The organizations that will lead in AI aren't necessarily the ones who start first, but the ones who scale responsibly, learn continuously, and stay aligned to their core mission. So, as you go back to your teams, think about the one or two places where AI can make a meaningful difference right now and start there. Thank you all for joining this session today, and especially those of you tuning in from different time zones around the world. We've covered a lot of ground from identifying high impact AI use cases to integrating AI into workflows, managing unpredictability, building governance and ethics, and fostering a culture that supports adoption. My hope is that you leave here with ideas you can apply immediately in your own organization. I'll stay on for a little bit now to answer any of your questions in chat. So if there's a AI topic that you'd like to dig deeper into, whether it's technical, strategic, or cultural, feel free to jump in. Thank you.